Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss the topic of simple interest and compound interest. First of all, let me explain the meaning of interest. See, when you borrow money from someone or use somebody else's money, then you have to pay a service charge to him. And this charges is paid back to the lender along with the original amount which you are borrowed. And this extra amount is generally called, it is an interest. And this is sometimes known as the cost of money, which does not belong to you, but you have used it. That's why you have to pay this particular amount, and which is generally known as it is interest. So interest is the amount which is to be paid on the borrowed money or the amount received on the money lent. So interest is typically which is expressed as a percentage term or which can be either simple interest or maybe compounded interest or simple interest and compound interest. See, the simple and compound interest are the two different methods for calculating the interest. And the both methods involves three basic parameters, namely the principal amount, then the rate of interest and the terms. And the borrowed money or the lent money is actually known as it is principal amount. So principal amount is the borrowed money or it is the lent money. And then the rate of interest, that means the rate at which the interest is charged on the principal. That is generally known as it is the rate of interest. And we have the third term, that is term, which is the number of period over which the interest is charged. So the sum of interest and the principal amount is generally known as it is amount. That is sum of interest plus interest amount is generally called it is amount. Now let us discuss what actually the simple interest mean and how it can be calculated. See, when the interest is calculated on the principal at uniform rate every period is generally known as it is simple interest. Or we can say that simple interest is a method of calculating interest that is based on solely on initial principal amount. We can calculate the simple interest by using the formula, that is the simple interest is equal to principal into interest rate into the term. Principal amount, then rate of interest and the time period. So we can denote it is simple interest, that is SI, which is equal to PIT, where P is the principal amount, I is the rate of interest and T is the time period. Then the total amount will be after a certain period of time, then your total amount will be the principal amount which you are already borrowed, then the simple interest which you have to pay for the lender. So it is A is equal to principal plus simple interest. So here we are going to consider one example. Assume you deposit 1,000 rupees at the rate of 7% annual simple interest for the 2 years. Then what is the accumulated interest at the end of second year? See, what are the information given here? P, that is principal amount which you have deposited is here 1,000 rupees and the rate of interest is 7%. We are converting this percentage into the decimal form. So here 7% can be written as 7 divided by 100. So which is equal to 0.07. And the term here is for 2 years. See, here it is given that it is for 2 years. And we want to find out the simple interest at the end of second year. So here we can calculate the simple interest by using the formula, that is PIT, principal amount, the rate of interest and the term. So what is the principal amount, which is 1,000, interest that is 0.07 and T is equal to 2. We can substitute this on this particular equation, then it will become 1,000 into 0.7 into 2, which is equal to, that is simple interest is equal to 140. So simple interest is accumulated interest. This is the accumulated interest at the end of the second year, that is 140. So after 2 years, your deposit will be equal to 1000 plus 140. So it will be 1140. But the simple interest, that is the accumulated interest at the end of the second year here, it is 140 only. Now consider another example. Find the amount which is to be paid back on the loan of 18,000 at 5.5% rate of interest for the 3-year period. So from the given question, what are the various informations are there? The principal amount is equal to 18,000. The rate of interest which is equal to 5.5%. So we can divide with the 100. So which is 5.5 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.055. Then what are the term? That is T is equal to 3 years. See here it is 3 years. It is not 2 years. It is for 3 years. Now we can find the total amount to be paid back. See, simple interest can be calculated by using the equation that is PIT. Principal amount into interest and term. So here the principal amount is equal to 18,000 into then the rate of interest which is here 0.055 into term period, it is for the 3 years. So it is 3 years. Now we can multiply these three terms, then it is equivalent to the 2,970. So the rate of interest for the 3 year, that is simple rate of interest for the 3 year is equal to 2,970. Now the question is here, that is we want to find out the amount which is to be paid back along with the principal amount. So here the total amount is equal to, that is A is equal to the principal amount plus the interest, that is simple interest which we are calculated here. So the principal amount is here 18,000 and the interest here it is 2,970. So it is 18,000 plus 2,970, which is equal to 20,970. So after 3 years, the amount to be paid back on the loan of 18,000 is equal to 20,970. Now consider another example. A sum of rupees 25,000 become 27,250 at the end of 3 years when calculated at the simple rate of interest. We want to find out what actually the rate of interest is here. See, the amount of 25,000 become 27,250. So how much rate of simple interest is added here? See here initially our principal amount is 25,000 and simple interest here, see 25,000 become 27,250. So simple interest added here, we can take the difference between these two terms, that is 27,250 minus 25,000, which is equal to 2,250. So 2,250 is the simple interest here. And the term is given here, that is for the 3 years. So now here we want to find out the rate of interest. See, the simple interest that we can calculate it as SI is equal to PIT, that is principal, interest and T. Here interest I is not given, which we want to calculate. So we are isolating I here. So for that we are dividing the both side of the equation by using PT. Then it will become, see the right hand side, the PT divided by PT will be cancelled out. What is remaining here? It is I. So we can write SI divided by PT, that is equal to the rate of interest. So here the simple interest which is equal to 2,250 divided by P, that is principal amount, that is 25,000 into T, which is equal to for 3 years. So it is equal to 3. If you go for simplifying it, then it is equal to, interest is equal to 0.03, which is equal to, if you go for multiplying with 100, then it will become a percentage term. So the 3% is the rate of interest. So the 3% rate of interest with the principal amount of 25,000 at the end of 3 years, this amount will become 27,250 with the rate of interest of 3%. Now consider another example. Find the simple interest on the amount of rupee 5,600 at the 12% rate of interest per annum from the July 15 to September 26, 2013. See here, the term is given in the form of month and also which is starting from some specific date. See, what are the information given here? The principal amount is 5,600. The rate of interest is 12%, so we can write it is 12 divided by 100, which is 0.12. Then here we want to count the number of days from these particular months. See, in the July month, which is starting from 15 to 31, so here it will be 16 days. And in August, it will be 31 days. And in up to September 26, see, it is 26 days. So the total number of days here are 16 plus 31 plus 26, which is equal to 73 days. So 73 days are there, and at the rate of 12% rate of interest, and symbol, what is the symbol interest we want to calculate here? So here we can write this particular t is equal to 73 days out of 1 year. So 73 divided by 365, which is equal to 1 by 5. So t is equal to here, it is 1 by 5. Now by using the formula, that is symbol interest is equal to PIT, principal amount, then interest, then the term. So here it is principal amount is 5,600 into the rate of interest, which is 1.12 into the term, which is equal to 1 by 5. Then if you go for simplifying it, then it is equal to 134.4. So here, whenever you are going to give this type of date, then in counting days, one of the two extreme days is excluded. Either you will exclude the July 15 or September 26. In this case, we are excluded the July 15. We are started from July 16 onwards. So in these particular cases, two extreme points are there. One is July 15 and September 26. Usually we will take only consider one day is excluded and another day will be excluded. So this is the example. Now consider another one. See, find the number of years a sum of 10,000 will take to become a 18,000 if the rate of interest is 8%. See here, what are the information given? The A total amount, that is interest plus principal amount, is given. That is this particular amount 10,000 will become 18,000. So 18,000 is the total amount, that is principal plus the interest, symbol interest. P is equal to, that is principal amount, which is 10,000, and the A is equal to principal plus symbol interest. So here we can say that symbol interest we can find, that is principal amount, total amount, that is A minus principal amount, that is 18,000 minus 10,000, which is equal to 8,000. So 8,000 is nothing but it is the symbol interest. Now from the given information, see, the rate of interest is equal to 8%. So it is 8 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.08. Now by using the equation, that is symbol interest is equal to PIT, we can substitute here, that is 8,000, that is symbol interest, which is equal to 8,000, which is equal to 10,000 into the rate of interest is here 0.08 into T term, which we want to find out here. Because here the question is how much time will take to become this particular amount as 18,000. So we want to find out here the T. We can isolate here by simplifying this particular equation, that is 8,000 is equal to 10,000 into 0.08, which is equal to 800 T. Then dividing the both side of the equation by using 800, then it will become T is equal to 10. So it is after 10 years. After 10 years, see, this 10,000 will become 18,000 at the rate of interest of 8%. So it will take the number of years required, it is 10 years. Now the another concept, that is compound interest. See, the compound interest is the interest on the savings calculated on both initial principal and accumulated interest from the previous period. It means that, see, it is the process by which interest is calculated not only on the initial principal amount, as in the case of simple interest. In the case of simple interest, the interest is calculated only on the principal amount. But here in the case of compound interest, see, it is the process by which the interest is calculated not only on the initial principal amount but also on the accumulated interest from the previous periods. So, the formula to calculate the value here, that is compound interest here, that is the amount after considering the compound interest, that is A is equal to amount is equal to the principal amount plus into 1 plus I raised to the power n. So, here we can isolate the compound interest, which is equal to P into 1 plus I raised to the power n minus P. So, principal amount you are going to minus here, so that you will get the compound interest. So, this is the formula for calculating the compound interest and the total amount. Consider one example. See, find the value in 4 years time of rupees 10,000 invested at 5% the interest, which is compounded annually. In the question itself saying that the compounding is going to take place annually. So, here what are the information given? P is equal to 10,000, principal amount is equal to 10,000. The rate of interest is 5%, which is 5 by 100, which is equal to 0.05. Then n is equal to 4 years. So, here the 4 years time period, so n is equal to 4 years. Then we know the total amount which we can calculate, that is here, that is A is equal to P into 1 plus I raised to the power n. See, all the information are given here, we are just going to substitute here. Then the A is equal to 10,000 into 1 plus 0.05 raised to the power 4. If you go for simplifying it, 10,000 into 1 plus 0.5, which is equal to 1.05 raised to the power 4. By using the calculator, you can find the value of 1.05 raised to the power 4, which is equal to 1.2155. So, if you go for multiplying 10,000 into 1.2155, then it is equal to 12,155. So, this amount, that is 10,000, will become 12,155 after 4-year time, if given the rate of interest 5%, which is compounded annually. Now, consider another one. We want to find out the amount at the end of 7th year for the rupee 800, which is compounded annual interest of 6% per annum. See here, what are the information given? The principal amount is 800 rupees. The rate of interest is 6%, that is 6 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.06. Then for the 7 years, at the end of 7 years, so here n is equal to 7 years. Now we can calculate the total amount at the end of 7 years, which is equal to A, that is P into 1 plus I raised to the power n. We are just substituting these values here. Then it will become 800 into 1 plus 0.06 raised to the power 7. So, if you go for simplifying it, it is 800 into 1 plus 0.06, which is equal to 1.06 raised to the power 7. 1.06 raised to the power 7 is nothing but which is equal to 1.5036. So, if you go for multiplying these two terms, then it is equal to 1202.9. So, after 7 years, at the end of 7 years, this 800 will become 12,002 rupees 0.9. Okay. So, this is the answer. Now, consider another example. See, a person wants to know how large his deposit of rupees 10,000 today will become at compound annual interest rate of 10% for 5 years. So, the question here, after 5 years, what will be the amount of deposit of 10,000 if the rate of interest, which is 10% and which are compounded annually? Then it will become, say here, P is equal to 10,000, I is equal to 10 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.1. Then n is given, which is equal to 5 years, for 5 years. Then you just substitute all these things here. Then it is equal to amount 10,000 into 1 plus 0.10 raised to the power n. Then it is equal to 1 plus 0.1, which is equal to 1.10 raised to the power n. 1.10 raised to the power n, which is equal to which is equal to 1.6105. So we can multiply these two terms, then it will become 16,105.1. So after 5 years, if the rate of interest is compounded annually at the rate of 10%, his deposit of 10,000 will become 16,105.1 rupees after 5 years. Now consider another example. See, David borrowed 5,000 from the bank at the rate of interest of 7% per annum, which is compounded annually. How much he has to pay back at the end of 4 years? So he took the 5,000 rupees for 4 years at the rate of interest of 7%, which are compounded annually. So here the information are, the principal amount is 5,000, I is equal to interest 5%, which is equal to 0.05, then n is equal to 4 year. Then the amount is equal to, see, it is p into 1 plus I raised to the power n. It is 5,000 plus 1 into 1 plus 0.07 raised to the power 4. Then it will become 1 plus 0.07, which is equal to 1.07 raised to the power 4. The 1.07 raised to the power 4, which is equal to 1.3108. You can use the calculator so that you can find this particular value. So 5,000 into 1.3108, which is equal to 6,553.98. So after 4 years, the 5,000 rupees will become 6,553. That means he has to pay back 6,553.98. See, whatever the example we solved here, where we assumed that the compounding is occurring annually. That means we are using the equation of, that is p into 1 plus I raised to the power n. That means here the interest is compounding annually. However, it is not necessary that compounding is always occur annually. Sometimes it may be half yearly, or maybe quarterly, or maybe it is monthly, or maybe m times. So accordingly, the formula for calculating the compound rate of interest may also change. So let's see what are the different cases here. If the compounding is undertake half yearly, then equation will become, see, here I divided by 2, because here in a particular year we have 2 half years. So we are dividing the rate of interest into 2 parts. So it is I divided by 2 raised to the power n into, that is 2 into n. So here it is 2 is nothing but it is in a 1 year we have a 2 half years. Similarly, if the compounding is take place quarterly, then the equation will become, see, p into 1 plus I divided by 4, because in a particular year we have a 4 quarters. So it is I divided by 4 into 4n. So here, because we are multiplying with 4, because we have a 4 quarters. See, if it is m times, if the compounding is going to take place m times, then the equation will become, see, it is p into 1 plus I divided by m times, that is m here, into m into n, raised to the power m into n. So this is take place when the compounding is take place m times. Now we will solve some examples by using this particular cases. A principal amount of 10 rupee that is invested at the 12% rate of interest for 1 year, and determine the amount if the rate of interest is compounded annually. So first we are calculating on the basis of compounding which will take place annually. Then the equation will become, see, p into 1 plus I raised to the power n. So here we can substitute everything, because the principal amount is here 10, the rate of interest is 12, so which will become 1.12, and for the 1 year, so here n is equal to 1. So we can calculate here, that is 10 into 1 plus 0.12, that is 1.12 raised to the power 1, so we are not going to write here. So 10 into 1.12, which is equal to 11.2. So if the amount is, rate of interest is compounded annually, then here the total amount will be, it is 11.2 after 1 year. Now what happened, the same thing if it is compounded half yearly. See, if the rate of interest is compounded here semi-annually, or it is also known as it is half yearly, then see here, we are writing that is rate of interest we are dividing by 2 into n. Here n is saying that here it is 2 half yearly, we are considering 2 half yearly, and it is only for the 1 year. So that's why here 2 into n, that is it is equal to 2 into 1, which is 2. So it will become 10 into 1 plus, see what is the rate of interest, which is 0.12 divided by 2, because it is half yearly, raised to the power 2, or it is square. So if you go for simplifying it, it is 10 into 1 plus 0.06 square, because divided 1.12 divided by 2, which is equal to 0.06 square. So it is equal to 1 plus 0.6, that is 1.06 square, which is equal to 1.1236, and multiplying with 10, then it will become 11.24. So if it is compounded half yearly, then it is equal to 11.24. Now let us assuming that the same question, with the same question, we are assuming that we are going to consider a quarterly. Then see here how it will be. See, if it is compounded quarterly, then we will compound it 4 times in a year, because in the given question that is for the 1 year, but the compounding is taking place for the 4 quarters. So quarterly, that's why we are compounding here, it's 4 times in a year. Then the interest will become, it is 12 divided by 4, that is 0.12 divided by 4, and n will become 4 into 1, which is equal to 4. So it is 10 into 1 plus I, that is interest, that is 0.12 divided by 4 into 1, that is for the 1 year. So it is 4 into 1, which is equal to 4, raised to the power 4. If you go for simplifying it, then it is 10 into 1 plus, it is 0.12 divided by 4, which is equal to 0.03 raised to the power 4. Then it is 10 into 1 plus 0.3 raised to the power 4, which is equal to 1 plus 0.0 raised to the power 4. Then this particular amount, this it will become, see, 1.1255. 1.03 raised to the power 4 is equal to 1.1255 into 10. Then it will become 11.26. So if it is compounded quarterly, then we are changing the equations formula slightly, that is I divided by 4 raised to the power 4, because it is compounding annually. Sorry, compounding in a year quarterly, that is 4 quarters we have. Now let us assuming that if it is compounding monthly, then how it will be? See, if the interest is compounded monthly, then the interest of 12% divided by 12 months, because in a year we have 12 months are there. So it will become, see, 0.1, so that is only 1%. 12 divided by 12, which is equal to 1%. So we can write it here, it is 10 into 1 plus 0.12 divided by 12. So raised to the power n is now become, it is 12, because it is compounding monthly. So this particular equation will become 10 into 1 plus 0.12 divided by 12, which is equal to 0.01 raised to the power 12. Then it is 1 plus 0.0 raised to the power 12, which is equal to 1.01 raised to the power 12, which is equal to, see, 1.01 raised to the power 12 is equal to 1.12682. Then if you go for multiplying with 10, then it will become 11.268. So in this way, the compounding can be take place in a different format. It can be take place in a yearly, it may be take place half yearly, it may be quarterly, or it may be monthly, or it may be m times. So there is a slight changes will be happen in the formula for calculating the rate of compounding rate of interest. Now let us consider the last example here. See, find the compound rate of interest on 25,625 for 12 months, that is here it is for 1 year, at 16% per annum, and which is compounding quarterly, See, it is for the 1 year it is depositing, then and also compounding quarterly. So in this particular case, see what are the information given? P is 25,625, I is equal to 16%. Therefore, we can say that if it is compounding quarterly, then I divided by 4, which is equal to 16 divided by 4, which is 4%. So, in this case, it will become 4%, which is equal to 4 divided by 100, which is 0.04. Now, n is equal to 12 month, that is equal to 1 year, that is 4 quarters. So, now we can substitute here, the equation will be P into 1 plus I divided by 4 raised to the power n. N is also here, it will become 4 quarters are there, and here it is for 12 months, that means it is for the 1 year. So, it is 4 into 1, which will become here the raised to the power, it is 4 only. So, it is principal amount 25,625 into 1 plus 0.16%, that is 0.16 divided by 4 raised to the power 4. If you go for simplifying it, 0.616 divided by 4, which is equal to, we are already calculated here, it is 0.04. Then it will become 25,625 into 1 plus 0.04 raised to the power 4. Then it is equal to 1.04 raised to the power 4. Then 1.04 raised to the power 4 is equal to 1.16985. You are going to multiply with 25,625. Then it will become, see, 29,977.63. That is, if this particular amount, that is 25,625 in a 1 year, compounding, it is quarterly at the rate of interest of 16%, then it will become 29,977.63. So, in this way, we can calculate the compounding interest or total amount. So, we are going to conclude here. See, today we have discussed the concept of simple and compound interest along with some suitable examples. In the next lecture, we will discuss the time value of money and the present value and the future values. See, we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.